We've got barbecue back here. You're all invited. Welcome to the Sloopcast. How are you doing today, Kyle?
I'm doing all right as long as I'm not reading chat here, Jared.
God, they are being ornery today.
More so than. No. This is typical. No, that when I'm who am I kidding? This is
you're
typical.
not fooling anyone.
All right. Well, today is week 12, 11, 12, 12. Week 12 of our SlooPicks, Jared.
There you go.
The season's flown by. This season sure has flown by, Jared.
Yeah, this is the penultimate week. This is
week 12, which means it's the SEC's bye week then.
Yes, Austin, of course, of the regular season. Of course. Yeah, it's this is it. Yeah, we got no SEC games on the docket this week. Well, that's not true.
No,
we got Georgia, Kentucky.
You lie. The doctor lies.
Am I the doctor now? Yeah, Georgia, Kentucky are playing each other, are on the list, but yeah, most of the other SEC teams are playing cupcakes this weekend. We will not be picking Alabama versus Austin P.
Who?
Oh, I was one step ahead of you on that one, Zach. I mean, Georgia's playing a cupcake. Damn, Austin. You didn't have to say it. You didn't have to say it out. It's true. You didn't have to say it out loud. Damn.
Illinois is playing a cupcake.
That's just inaccurate, but funny. Inaccurate, but funny.
All right, let's jump into it here.
Exactly, Austin.
Speaking of Illinois heading on over to Michigan. Noon game, ABC, and Michigan is a 17.5-point favorite.
Yes, sir.
I'm actually going to go pick with the Illinois Fighting Birds here. I think Illinois will keep it closer. Michigan will still win it convincingly, but 17.5 I think is a little too much for me. So I'll pick Illinois to at least cover here.
I don't know. Illinois is on a 2-game losing streak. Both games that they were favored in, by the way, it's really, really hard to take Illinois right now. It feels like they're on a slide. Michigan, on the other hand, feels like they are killing it. They look
only on the ground.
Great on the ground. And on the defense. Like, you have to also give it up for their defense. I would read that, Austin, but I don't know how to pronounce it, as is tradition. So yeah, I'm going to take Michigan to win and cover. I think this is a pick that I'll be like sweating a bit at halftime. Like Michigan will be up at halftime. They'll be like 7. They'll have like a 7-point lead at halftime, but then after in halftime, they score like 3 or 4 unanswered touchdowns.
Because here's the thing, like I really like Illinois' rushing defense here. They're only letting up 85 yards a game, one of the best in the country. Now, who have they played? And yeah, you can definitely have that kind of argument. Who they played and why their numbers look so good. Okay, yeah, maybe.
Wyoming, Indiana, Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wisconsin's not. They're not the Wisconsin we're used to seeing from a run production standpoint. Iowa. Now they did play Minnesota. But then Nebraska, which is a game Michigan State. How many rushing yards did they give up specifically, Kyle, against Minnesota, Michigan State, and Purdue? I think would be the question.
All right, sure. So they gave up 142 rushing yards to Minnesota.
Okay.
But they only let up 38 on the passing. So they let up less than 200 yards to Minnesota.
Okay.
Sparty,
God, the Big Ten is so Big Ten sometimes.
Sparty, they let up 112 on 29 carries, so under 4 yards a carry.
Okay.
And then against Purdue, they let up 142 on 33 carries, which is just a little bit more than 4.
I think Michigan crushes them.
All right. Let's see what our guest picker has today. Gangland, right?
Yeah, that is correct, sir.
Gangland here says, I have watched very little Illinois this year and a decent amount of the other guys. This is not a good matchup for the guys in blue. Both teams found their bread and butter in running backs that they run like a $5 horse. Both teams
Oh,
suck
horse. I thought that was going somewhere else.
Both teams suck at passing and have very good defenses. Illinois covers, and I'm going to put Hairball on upset watch. I like you, Gangland. I like you. Oh, yeah. All right. Next game here, also a nooner. TCU and Baylor. Didn't somebody have Baylor, who is currently 6-4, as one of their playoff finalists?
Someone did. Was it? I feel like that someone has some sort of relationship to the first game we talked about.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. We're going to move on either. We're going to move on anyway. TCU is only a 2.5-point favorite in this game. A lot like last week where Texas was favored by like 7.5 points. Austin's going to love this here. And I think quite a few of other people in our Discord chat here. Ribbit, indeed. Give me the Horned Frogs to cover easily.
Yeah, as much crap as I've given TCU for like not winning, for lack of a better word, pretty enough, for not looking impressive enough during their wins, they have failed to cover only one time this year. They failed to cover against Oklahoma State. So outside of that, they've covered every game. But that being said, they haven't covered many of these games like, once again, impressively. They did crush Oklahoma. That's a thing that happened. And they did, they did actually beat the spread pretty hard against Texas, as they were expected to lose that game per Vegas. But if we look at some of their other, they covered by 1.5 points. They covered by 3 points. They covered by 6 points. They covered by 5 points. They covered by 2 points. They always feel like a team like on the razor's edge, right? And for what it's worth, Baylor has not been bad against the spread. They're 6-4. That's nothing terrible. I think what you have in this game are two teams that are not, by Big 12 standards, defensively bad. I think that these are two pretty okay defenses. But I think that TCU has a much better offense. And I'm not going to let 2.5 points scare me off of that. So yeah, 2.5 point. I think Texas Christian wins this game. Give me Texas Christian. The 2.5 points is enough to scare me off.
All right. Well, Austin wants to know, what would the number be?
What would you mean? What would the number need to be? Oh, I'd probably take TCU all the way up to either 5.5 or 6.5.
Give me TCU up to 9.5.
I wouldn't take them at 9.5. I'd take Baylor at 9.5.
Not me. All right. Let's see what Gangland has to say here. TCU keeps hopping backs from the depths. Oh, I got to reread this. Sorry. TCU keeps hopping back from the depths of hell every week, and eventually that luck will run out. Just not this week. Dave Orion Aranda, cannot talk today, jeez, had a great year at Baylor last year, but this year has not been it for him. They have not really had a strong offensive performance, and I don't think they have the firepower to keep up with Max Dugan and the potent blood squirting offense of TCU. TCU covers, and it won't be close. Yes, I know, rule number 6. Yeah. All right, moving on to ACC country. Miami and Clemson. Man, must not be good games here, Jared.
No, it's again like the entire SEC is taking the week off. It's a trash week for football. I'll say it.
Yeah. Clemson is a 19.5-point favorite here.
Kyle, one of the worst since I've been, I don't start looking at these because they don't really mean anything till like mid-October, maybe early October. Because like I said, you need data points for it to actually matter. But since I've started looking, one of the worst against the spread records I have seen all year is Miami. Miami is 2-8 against the spread this year.
Woof.
Their only covers were against an FCS team and last week against Georgia Tech.
Jeez.
Those are their only covers all year. Clemson's not, if we're being honest, Clemson's not been great against the spread either. They're a 500 football team, but hey, when the other side's 2-8, anyway, I can't talk today. Clemson's a superior offensive football team in this game, which is not a thing I get to say too often. That being said, 20 points is a lot.
It is a lot.
20 points is a lot, especially for a Clemson team that has not been scoring with a great deal of regularity this year.
But to be fair, on the other side too, Miami has struggled at times scoring points too. Just a couple of weeks ago, they scored 3 against Florida State. They only scored 14 in 4 overtimes to Virginia, 21 to Duke, 20 to Virginia Tech. Has not been all that great here. So my first instinct was, Clemson should be able to cover this. But as you pointed out, Jared, like Clemson's last games, they put up 31, 14, and 27 points in their past last 3 games here. That's a great number, but I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna pick I'll pick Miami to cover here, but I think they'll barely cover by they'll lose by like 17 points
in ACC play. So we're not counting the FCS school or Louisiana Tech.
That is a cover, yes. Miami will cover. They'll lose by 17, which is a cover, yes.
They've only won by more than 20 points twice. Boston College, and then once again Georgia Tech. It's amazing how often that tends to come up. They won those games by 31 and by 28. This is not a team that's been crushing teams this year. It's really, really hard to pick them by 20. But man, the fact that Miami's 2-8 against the spread this year has me real hesitant to pick them. But I will. I'm going to take the Hurricanes, but if you're betting real life money, sit this one out. I would want nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Talk about their quarterback. Pass.
All right, let's see what Gangland says here. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Miami sucks. Jared, do the thing. If not, fuck you. Clemson is very mid. I wish Dabo I wish Dabo a very mid. Each shit comes in, but they will cover, sadly. Yeah, talk about their quarterback, Jared.
I don't have to do anything. And I also don't have to do the thing because Gangland already said fuck off or fuck you or whatever it is he said. He's already delivered the punishment. Why would I? You can't hit me with the stick and then expect me to chase the stick.
But Jared, join the Discord for only $3.
And you can harass me in real time for $3 a month. Bully Jared for $3 a month.
Yeah, you can join for free, but if you want to harass us some more, you can pay $3 a month for the premium content.
Something like that, yeah.
All right, moving on to our 3:30 games. If you listen to our pick for Ohio State Maryland game, listen to our Thursday episode. But for right now, we will talk about the Georgia and Kentucky game played in Kentucky, where Georgia, the Bulldogs, are a 22.5-point favorite. What you got, Jared?
All right, so no against the spread talk on this one. They're both 6-4. That's a total wash, right? Georgia has been demolishing teams lately. Mississippi State by 26. Tennessee, who they beat Tennessee by 14 points, but if you watch that game, they demolished them. Florida by 22, Vanderbilt by 55, Auburn by 32. They've been crushing teams, especially on the back half of the season. I mean, back half, hell, Oregon by 46, South Carolina by 41. They've just been crushing teams this year, except Kent. They had problems against Kent and Missouri. But outside of that, Kentucky, they just lost to Vanderbilt.
And got destroyed by Tennessee.
Got destroyed by okay.
And barely beat Missouri.
Well, they have that in common.
Yeah. I guess that is a common thing.
There's a commonality there. Okay, guys, everyone. Breaking news, everybody. Georgia's better than Kentucky. I'm going to go out on that limb. I'm going to say it. Are they 22.5 points better? I think so, yeah. I'm going to pick Georgia to win and cover.
I agree. And their games just have not been close as what Jared said here, other than the 14-point victory over Tennessee. And then their next closest one was 22 points to Florida, the end of October there. Yeah, I think Georgia should have their way with Kentucky, especially with Kentucky struggling to score points here. So yeah, give me Georgia. Gangland here says, this is an extension of Chicken Shit Saturday in the SEC. Kentucky is garbage, even though they have a quarterback one in the draft. Maybe he shows everyone why that is his alleged place, but I doubt it. Georgia will just out 5-star them to death, and it'll be called a good win because of the SEC. 22.5 is a huge spread. And I'm going to say Georgia wins this one in a nasty 24-3 fashion. Kentucky covers.
He's obviously kidding about Levis. That's an inside joke from the server. Or I guess it's a truth if you're was it Mel Kiper, Gangland, who had that? Was it one of the other guys? Yes, it was Mel Kiper. Oh, Mel Kiper. Yeah, this game's going to be a slaughter. Georgia will win by however many points they feel like winning.
Yeah. All right. We will finish our last two picks heading on over to Pac-12 country. We have I don't know if we do have a Big 12 one. Forgot about TCU Baylor. All right, we'll start with probably one of the prettiest uniformed games you'll see this weekend.
Top tier uniform game.
USC and UCLA. 8 o'clock kickoff on Fox here. Pretty much a pick 'em here. Almost a pick 'em, but I'm going to treat it like a pick 'em here. USC is a 1.5 point favorite here. And Jared, when it's this close here, what is one of our rules here?
Never play Navy.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but Navy's not in the discussion here.
Okay. When in doubt, pick the quarterback.
There you go.
Right. By the way,
number 3.
I really need to emphasize the when in doubt part, because both of us, and like we can give Will Levis crap for being overrated, and he is. But who would you rather have?
Yes.
Levis or Bennett? I know who I want. I don't like the. Well, I know actually, Austin. It's kind of poetic. It's the year of the tight end is number 13. It's a little bit poetic, I have to say.
I don't know who to pick there, Levis or Bennett.
Really?
Okay. If you put them have equal receivers, equal talent. Hold on, equal talent on the offensive line. I may say Levis. Levis.
Absolutely. It's not even close. I'm just talking like, hey, they're both in the transfer portal. You can only sign one of them. Who do you take?
Yeah, probably Levis.
I'd absolutely take Levis.
All right, where are you going with this?
Never accept a transfer from a man whose name is a hat. That should be 14. Levis is hella overrated. I agree with you, Austin. I agree. He is hella overrated. But Stetson Bennett is Stetson Bennett.
Where are you going with this regarding the USC UCLA game?
I do see two pretty evenly matched teams. I think Kyle said that and was absolutely correct. I'm tempted to look at maybe some recent games for commonality standpoint. We all know UCLA just lost to Arizona. They lost by 6 points. USC beat them by 8 points. Again, looking for some recent commonalities. They both played Utah in about the same time frame. In that game, UCLA won by 10. USC lost by 1. Oh, okay. We're not finding any gems here, Kyle. We have a 4 team cluster on that one. I don't know. I'm just gonna pick UCLA because they're the underdog, but man, that doesn't feel like.
Oh boy.
But it's 1.5 points, so I don't even know what that really even gets me, if I'm being honest.
I'm going with our rule number 3. When in doubt, pick the quarterback, and I'll pick Caleb Williams here. So
I'll
UCLA. Pick US.
I like UCLA's quarterback a lot too.
All right.
In fact, Austin's about to make the case.
Okay. Caleb Williams. Here's what Gangland says. Caleb Williams is very okay, not really great. USC is also just Oklahoma West campus this year, as well as being transfer U. Did they ever reach the scholarship limit for the year? ? UCLA just dropped a game to Arizona of all teams in what can only be deemed as a classic Pac-12 meltdown. What looks like a very strong conference this year with a lot of 1 and 2 loss teams will shine bright out in the Rose Bowl this weekend. But I think UCLA dominates the trenches and simply beats USC into submission this weekend. Yes, UCLA big time.
There you go.
All right, interesting. And the last game here, this is our Pac-12 After Dark game, Jared.
It's the first time we've had one of these this year.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time we've done a 10:30 kickoff.
And one of the best games this weekend too, and it is a 10:30 kickoff. Utah and Oregon. Ooh boy, get some good sleep before watching this one. It's
you listen.
Get that power nap in there somewhere.
Here's what you do. 8:00 is when USC UCLA kicks off.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself like a nice 40 to 60-minute power nap, because
right after Ohio State wins.
What did you almost say? Did anyone else hear an L in there? Did anyone else hear that? Okay.
Whatever, John. You have a hard time hearing right now.
It's possible. I'm sleep deprived. Well, I'm sleep deprived. Yeah. When you look at Oregon, when you look at Utah, what I see are like just two Pac-12 teams who are good. They're not great, but they're good. I don't think there's a great team in the Pac-12 this year. I don't think that's breaking news either. I don't know. I don't overly like either of these teams that much. But like, if I were just to say they're Penn State, does that make sense? Am I far off on that analysis just to say these teams are basically Penn State? Because I think that's about what it is. They're better than Penn State. I don't know that they are, Austin. I think the only difference between Utah and Penn State is that Utah had to play Ohio State and Michigan. Well, they should.
The winner of this game most likely will earn the trip to the Pac-12 Conference Championship game.
That's good to know. And then does I assume UCLA, USC will all obviously have a say in how that turns out as well. If Utah wins and they win their last game, they are host. Utah controls its own destiny. There you go. But first they got to get past Oregon, obviously. So who do we have here, Kyle, as far as I'm not in love with either of these teams. I think Oregon's really good at running the score up against bad teams, which has been their MO since the Chip Kelly days. So a lot of their numbers are thrown off. I kind of think I'm gonna pick Utah here. I think it's like a 50-50 football game, and I have Utah with a 3.5 point buffer. I'm gonna take it. Give me Utah.
Yeah, Oregon's a 3.5 point favorite here, but man, yeah, one week Oregon looks good. Like they had a 15-point victory over UCLA, and then they'll turn around and lose to Washington another week here. I just don't know what to make of Oregon. They have a lot of talent there, and when they're on a roll, they're on a roll. But I think they have a lot to play for. No, actually Utah does too. But I'm just going to go with the more talented team here. I just think Oregon just has too much offensive power to just to not lose here. So I'll pick Oregon to cover here.
What does Gangland have to say?
This is another one which Oregon dropped a game that they really shouldn't have. Tie game with 1:30 on the clock, and you go for it for 4th and 1 on your own 35. I'll take some of that weed they're smoking, please. Utah has had a very interesting year since dropping a game to Florida with an actual assault rifle for a quarterback. He can only throw passes at a velocity that shred up your organs and has no touch. I give them a lot of credit for their battle against USC, as that was great to see Lincoln Riley sad. I am anticipating Bo Nix to have a classic Bo Nix game. He will shit the bed.
Okay.
I look forward to Clark Phillips picking him off 2 to 3 times and sitting in my bed like Wolverine with the framed photo. Man, what could have been? Take Utah and let's watch the Pac-12 madness ensure.
I agree, Austin. I think, I know we all had a lot of fun, ripping Bo Nix over the years, but he's been excellent this year.
He's at almost 2,800 yards, 24 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Yeah, it's not a bad year at all.
Nope. All right, Kyle, that's our last pick. I think you already said this, but I'll say it again. If you're new here, the 7th game we actually pick on Thursday. That's Ohio State and Maryland. Ohio State's favored by 27.5 points. Again, we pick that one on the Thursday episode. Outside of that, Kyle, do we have any Ask Sloopcast questions?
Not for this one. Not for the national games here. No.
All right. I want to encourage everyone to check out thesloopcast.com. I want to encourage everyone to check out our Discord server, discord.thesloopcast.com. It's a tightly moderated Ohio State-based community. Come hang out. If you're looking, maybe you're a little bit tired of Twitter. Maybe you're a little bit tired of the toxicity that you find on Twitter or your average college football message board, and you're looking for not that. If you're looking for not that, and if you're a bot, Gangland will ban you. So yeah, just come on over to the Discord server, discord.thesloopcast.com. Kyle, do you have anything in Kyle's corner?
Oh man, I was really looking. I'm just going to read off just some things here that was announced this week here. Just some award finalists here. CJ Stroud's prize is a nope, that was a different one. Here we go. Yep. CJ Stroud, a semifinalist for the Davey O'Brien and Johnny Unitas Golden Arms Award, and Cade Stover is a semifinalist for the John Mackey Award.
That's nice. He won't win it. And that's a statistics-based award, and someone else will get it, but it's still a great honor.
Some other ones, CJ Stroud and Marvin Harrison Jr. semifinalists for the Walter Camp Player of the Year. And everyone's favorite receiver, Cameron Babb, semifinalist for the Jason Witten Collegiate Man of the Year.
There you go.
And then one last one here, Paris Johnson Jr. is one of the 7 semifinalists for the Outland Trophy.
Yeah, he is. He's had an amazing year. He's given up 0 sacks. He's had a tremendous year. He's a real decent chance that he might win that, Austin. There's also a decent chance he gets picked like top 10 in the draft. He's having a great year, an absolutely great year. That's it, Kyle. Yes, for Kyle's Corner.
That's it here. Mentioned in yesterday's episode that Buckeye basketball is 3-0, and they finished their first 3 games, and will be heading on over to Maui.
They are playing basketball.
Someplace warmer.
Austin wants you to touch on early Maction this week. We had an impromptu social screen. We watched. We're waiting on the college football picks. By the way, social screens are things we do in the Discord server. So come hang out. We did an impromptu social screen, waiting for the college football playoff rankings, watching Michigan State defeat Kentucky, and we were also watching a pair of Maction games. It was a lot of fun. Like we got really, for some reason, I won't say why, Kyle. We got really invested Toledo versus Bowling Green. We got kind of invested.
Mm-hmm. But the better team won.
If you say so. All right, Kyle, I think that's it. So with all of tonight's ending music brought to you by the Soul Monsters. So with all that being said, I'd like to encourage everyone to drink local beer, listen to local music, of course, support your local podcasters. Once again, this is the Soul Monsters.